As far as you can walk easily in a day defines your cosmos, your local landscape of symbols. The traditional world is a world within walking distance. A civilization needs some attachment to ultimate things. It hardly matters where it comes from, only that it is adequate to its purpose. We cannot count the years as only springtimes and pretend this great adventure is not a dusty warble in a sad, strange, stray galaxy of indifferent mystery. Ancient philosophy was based in physical gesture. The mind is exactly the same shape as the body. Of all human activities, walking upright embodies and expresses most adequately the proper relations of sameness, difference and being. It can happen in traditional orders that metaphysically or cosmologically exact symbolisms perpetuate from generation to generation despite and not because of the purposes to which they are put. Frogs in the bog distract us from the unaccountable fact of stars. We are small men adrift in a diabolical prosperity. The constellations mock our certainties, wide meadows for the wide-eyed sky. The human body is the most complete, cosmic and primal of symbols. The organisation of man reflects the organisation of the cosmos, and this because he has been constituted from the cosmos, or rather from the principle through the cosmos, which distinction is all important. Never mistake a circle for a rectangle's inner journey. View every object from every angle, including the angle where you view every angle all at once. Then put every view in the best possible order. In the best of possible worlds, pursue the best of possibilities. You live in a mansion, but you only occupy a few small rooms. You know there are other rooms, but there are also many rooms of which you don't even suspect. All the keys to all the rooms are hidden in plain sight. The best method is to go to nature, go to ground, go to primordial and tangible models. Never go wide without going deep. Use the 4 to extract the 3 from the 12. When we say that such and such is a key to what seem mysteries, we usually mean a complex of analogies that extends throughout the total weave of analogies that make up a tradition. It is simply the case that among analogies, some are more extensive and revealing and open more doors than others according to their inherent order. The black soil and its teeming life is a reflection of the night sky and its teeming stars, and the cycles of the land are analogous to the cycles of the heavens. The black soil of the Nile, the darkness beyond the stars. The most animal instinct is driven by the most sublime aspiration. What is required is sincere and prolonged attention to a single genius of philosophical thought and the store of primordial ideas in the mythology relevant to it, pursuing it where it will and in spite of its shape-shifting and its thousand masks. The activity of philosophy involves an optimized or totalized epistemology, which is to say that it draws upon the full range of epistemological tools to the fullest possible extent. Few things in the visible cosmos bear as much contemplation as the horizon, the ever-receding line that is not a line. It is tempting to characterize the Western tradition as a long, slow forgetting that began when Socrates referred to his theory of recollection, and none of his friends could remember it. To remember is to prolong, and to prolong is to postpone. We cannot begrudge the habits of the milling sky. Language devolves, and so do all things made of it. The earliest meaning of stoicheion, element, is line or mark. Its most primitive meaning refers to the activity of mark-making, the activity of the primal artist, the divine artist as mark-maker. The extension of meaning to the letters of the alphabet is extrapolated from the primary meaning, a shadow cast by the gnomon of a sundial, a line made by the sun. The observation is that the shadow forms the shape of certain letters of the Greek alphabet. Thus we consider the Greek alphabet as traces of the gnomon. The ultimate idea is of making a line, that primordial act. Our best thoughts are geometric, not arithmetic. Sun, moon and earth together nurse the secret fire. The zodiac is both a circle and a 360-sided figure. Nothing is vanquished in triangulation. Victory is pregnant. Horizontal distinctions demand vertical order. Your daemon is a guiding soul from the golden age. We are fearful of the infinite. That is to say, we have lost the advantage of play. Play is a state of profound, sustained, and untroubling ambivalence resting in a hierarchy of adequacies. The true reflection reveals the principle of reflection. Humour, play, pleasure, these are integral tools within the Platonic philosophy in ways that are entirely missing in modern philosophy. These are not minor or trivial aspects of Platonic dialogues. Between the sensory and the rarefied dimensions of the highest faculty, the non-sensory intuitions, between the radiance and the solidity is the imaginal, the non-physical interrealm of physical things. The mythological is the logomythical. Colour and scent are places where realms bleed into each other. Bittersweet is the baby's drool. Terrible honesty might dawn in a crucible of falsehoods. There are two centres to Western civilization, and both of them are in the East, Jerusalem and Athens. These are the two great cities of the West. The third term is Rome, a substitute for Jerusalem, the eternal city, but before that an extension of Athens. To be Occidental is to be entangled in the coordinates of this threefold dynamic. There is a geology of history. It is not enough to follow rivers and streams. All problems triangulate. The historical revelations are transmutations of tectonic violence. Great moments answer great yearning. The proportionate compensation of the divine to the conditions of late antiquity was to throw open the mysteries to all and to install a sacred pivot into the hardening historical and anti-mythological worldview fostered by both Romans and Jews. The olive tree whose oil is blessed is not of the east and not of the west. In the sacred, a stupendous distance opens up between events and their significance. Religion saves a man from merely paltry delusions. We are what we keep hidden. Death is the polite man in the passenger's seat. Plato is a writer who uses his writing to condemn the art of writing, and he is himself at the same time a master of writing. That's the sort of writer you're up against. A cylinder casts a rectangular shadow. If the dialogues of Plato were all we had, what would we know about the author? We have to understand the full construction of the Platonic dialogue. Nothing is unimportant. They are as totalized as archaic poems. Treat the simple and the complex as opposites in tension. There is a single configuration of philosophical ideas and mythological motifs nascent in Plato's cosmology that can be found across diverse traditions. There is a power greater than power. The heart wants midnight at midday. Like the misalignment of the tropics from the equator, the misalignment of Aristotle from Plato creates seasons and storms of the mind in both Christian and Islamic climates. The simulacrum is that thing that suddenly exposes the alignment of inner and outer and causes everything to pass through everything else in the counterplays of cosmic adequacy. The balanced suspension of opposites in dynamic tension creates the illusion of both motion and stillness. The philosophic nature is the innate capacity to reside in paradox without falling into duality. Selfhood is chironic. The divine craftsman of the Platonic cosmology leads naturally to the divine architect and to the analogy of temple and cosmos. What Vulcan longs for, there are knots and bonds for. In the Timaeus, and only in the Timaeus, is all the furniture of Platonism assembled in a single room. The blacksmith and the weaver are like belief and believer. Lovers false will dance and waltz, lovers true will rendezvous. The philosophic nature thrives in its own paradox. In the rites of the New Year, the speaker calls or sings the cosmos into creation, being demiurge to his own tale. The New Year is to the solar cycle what the day of creation is to the cosmic cycle. The virgin motherhood of Athena is different to the all-yielding motherhood of Gaia and celebrates a different ideal. It explicitly underlines the idea that the farmer extracts bounty from nature without diminishing or defiling her. Athena rules first the clouds of the lower sky, but also their prototypes, the clouds of stars, the galaxies of the night sky. Condensations of primal light descend right back to primal night. In a traditional order, Technological innovations are carefully sacralized and integrated into the continuum of tradition, even if radical adjustments need to be made to weave the new technology into the total symbolic framework that is the matrix of such an order. Every time you plug them in, machines connect to machines within. Autochthon or automaton, two children of the fire god. One of the most essential of present tasks is to relentlessly expose the deep mythological structures of the quantitative sciences. Every technological advance makes ecstasy more destructive. Hierarchy is the marrow of fittedness. Flowers of love blossom above, yours and mine, the wheels of time. In the best of possible worlds, behold the optimum realizations of the most beautiful ideas in their most translucent order. Wheresoever a person resides, there is around them a cosmos of symbols adequate to their being. Trust the water, test the bridge. The Republic is situated in a mythological tension between Athena and Artemis, the polis and the wild. Only the philosopher kings transcend that tension. The best way to characterize the entire political history of the West is as a battlefield of competing misreadings of the Republic. Never trust a German who tells you he's an atheist. Freedom is the fantasy of an idle thraldom. The city of the Republic is Athens, the ideal state, the optimized polis described by Socrates in the Republic is an Athens redeemed. Throughout the dialogues we encounter decadent Athens, but in the Republic we are given an ideal view of the city of Athena, the city of her philosopher kings. It is a city writ in heaven, a celestial city, sacred Athens. It is Plato who sanctifies Athens. In whatever age, the philosopher may become a citizen of that great celestial city, the city of justice. This is what becoming a philosopher in the Platonic sense entails. It means to become a citizen of celestial Athens, a city of Athena and her philosopher kings. The philosopher king will come home from the war disguised and unnoticed. High places explain the horizon. There's only the one, the many, or the none, and only all of them will do. We have all been transformed before. We cannot cower among the late blossoms, reconcile not in consistency, but in adequacy and proportion.